Congratulations to the greatest investor, perhaps in American history, Nancy Pelosi. She hit another home run. I have to say, I don't know how she picks her stocks, but I have to tell you what, E.F. Hutton ain't got nothing on Nancy Pelosi. Apparently, I was seeing from the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker, I think it was December the 22nd of 2023. Less than, or I guess just about 6 months ago, she purchased $5 million in Nvidia call options. And not to get, I don't want to get into the weeds. This is not a finance show. Call options, you can kind of think of them as a leveraged bet. They're much more volatile than just buying the stock. So it's not like she bought $5 million in Nvidia stock. If you have a 1% change in Nvidia stock, Nvidia call options, depending on the maturity, or not the maturity, the expiration date, and of course the strike price, they're going to move at more than 1%. It's not a 1-to-1 change in value. The value is going to either go up or go down at an exaggerated rate. And so the idea is a call option is something that you're going to buy if you want to speculate on the price of a stock going up. So let's say a stock is currently trading at $100 a share, and you buy call options at $100 that expire in 6 months, let's just say. Or maybe you want to do 90 days. The value of those options is going to change depending on whatever the value of that stock becomes in the future. So let's say it goes up to $110 a share, and you've got $100 call options. Those call options are going to be worth more than what you paid for them, because somebody then, whoever's holding those options, can then go back and buy that stock at $100 a share when it's actually valued at $110 a share. So I didn't want to explain too much about that because it's kind of in the weeds. It doesn't really matter. The point is, Nancy Pelosi bought $5 million in Nvidia calls. That means she's expecting at some point in the near future, in a relatively short term, that stock is going to appreciate significantly. Nancy Pelosi doesn't make bad bets. Nancy Pelosi has all the inside information that you could ever want. Being a member of Congress, she knows how Nvidia is going to be regulated. She would know if there's going to be any bad news coming out for Nvidia, like let's say that the Department of Defense comes in and says, you know what, Nvidia, you can't keep selling the 4090D into China. That's way too powerful of a GPU. We're going to make it so that you can only sell 4060s to China. That would, if the Department of Defense did that, that'd be a huge hit to Nvidia stock. But if Nancy Pelosi is hanging on to Nvidia call options, you can be damn sure that that's not going to happen, because she's not going to take a big hit like that. She's not going to risk her $5 million. Nancy Pelosi is now the second richest person in Congress, and she is eclipsed only by Rick Scott, who was rich when he got there. Very rich. He's worth like $300 and something million. Nancy Pelosi, on the other hand, has never done anything in her life other than be a politician. And yet now she's richer than Mitt Romney, the guy who was considered too rich to be president. He was considered too rich and out of touch. Yet Nancy Pelosi is richer than that guy. And so how does she do that? How is it, if you look at the rate at which her net worth is rising, she's getting richer a lot faster than somebody like, let's say, Rick Scott. Nancy Pelosi goes certain days or weeks, where she just gains millions of dollars in net worth. And that's because she has all the information. She has all the information you could ever want. Frankly, they've got that inverse Kramer ETF. Sadly, since the SEC is controlled by the government, I'm sure they would never allow, a Nancy Pelosi ETF. But that'd be pretty great. I mean, I'd invest in it because it's a sure thing. You'll always win. People say don't fight the Fed. How about don't fight the Speaker of the House, or the former Speaker of the House in this case, but she's still the most powerful Democrat in Washington. Even at in her, semi-demented state, I mean, she's a fossil. She can barely prop herself up anymore. She's still got more brains than friggin' Schumer and Biden. I mean, you've got 3 fossils walking around there. I guess, she's the least senile Alzheimer's patient in the nursing home. And so she's got enough brain cells to rub together in order to decide where to put her money. And so what's happened since Nancy Pelosi bought those Nvidia call options? Well, the stock price is up 145%, and Nvidia is now the second largest company by market cap in the world. They are now bigger than Apple. And they don't even make computers. They make one component of computers, which until recently was only really important if you were playing video games or like doing AutoCAD, 3D modeling. But now that AI has replaced blockchain as the new buzzword, Nvidia is the top dog. Nvidia has been unmatched in the GPU space, really since the downfall of 3DFX. And so when AI started replacing Bitcoin farming and other crypto farming, Ethereum, all that, GPUs, all of a sudden now they're worth more than ever. Not necessarily because they can literally be used to print money like they did with the crypto boom, but because they are needed by all of these startups that venture capital is just absolutely pissing money into. All these AI startup companies that think that they're going to create her. Everyone wants a piece of the action. They want to be on the ground floor when a breakthrough happens. And so everybody is just pouring money into buying these things. And we've got Jensen at Computex delivering an absolutely nothing speech, announcing nothing, just going on rambling. He had this giant server cart, and he held up a GPU, like a gaming GPU reference model, and he went full Crocodile Dundee and said, "That's not a GPU. This is a GPU," and pointed at the giant server rack. And he spewed a bunch of talking points about the more you buy, the more you save. I guess it was a point about economies of scale. It seems somewhat intuitive, but not at all innovative. Anyway, after that speech, in the wake of that, Nvidia's stock shot up $200 billion, and they're now bigger than Apple. So there's that. They're a $3 trillion company. Remember when that used to be a big deal? A company being worth $1 trillion? What? $1 trillion? That's more money than we could even fathom. Is trillion? Is that a real number? 1 trillion? Now you got companies who normies had never heard of, 2 years ago. Nobody knew what an Nvidia was, and people these days, your average retail investor, on CNBC, they still, watching people like, oh gosh, who's that oldster on CNBC? I can't remember his name. No, I feel bad. I can picture his face. I can't remember his name. It's been too many years since I've watched CNBC. Anyway, listening to him trying to describe, how graphics cards work and chiplets. Oh, chiplets. They talk about chiplets on CNBC. It's hilarious. Anyway, these people don't know what a graphics card is. They don't know what an Nvidia is. They don't know what a chiplet is. They don't know what ray tracing is. But they know that AI equals dollar signs. And so they've managed to bid this company up to being worth $3 trillion in a very short amount of time. So anyway, that's about where we stand. I will say, on just an anecdotal note, clearly the AI stuff is getting better. It is, and I do think on net that the AI stuff is going to be positive, at least artistically. There's a lot of Luddites out there who are very upset about AI art. You know what I should do? I should save this and just talk about AI art by itself. But let's just say I'm looking forward to the day when you can have an entirely AI generated like film that is completely devoid of real actors and the Hollywood studio system and all of those people. You know, the fact that you could just have someone with a vision and enough time on their hands to try and prompt this stuff and use AI to generate whatever their artistic vision is in an audio-visual format. I think that will be a good thing. But there's so much more to it than that, and you know, I don't even want to get into it because this is not the AI channel. I am not the AI expert, and I don't want to be accused later on of encouraging people to invest in Nvidia. I'm not telling you to do that at all. In fact, I wish all this would go away so that Nvidia would be forced to drop prices and actually release new products. I almost said competitive products, but they have no competition, unfortunately, no decent competition. And so Nvidia is able to maintain their dominance over the space, which is not great for consumers, to say the least. Anyway, with that said, I will see you folks back here in the next one.